What's up, everybody? Terrell here, and I'm here to talk about Chainsaw, the movie, the Reze Arc. If you guys have been hiding under the rock and you don't know what Chainsaw Man is, well, this is an opportunity to tell you. This is not for your children to watch. This is a rated R movie for adults only, with some humor. They may seem like it's on brand for children, but this is a rated R movie through and through. Bless you, Mappa, for giving us this god tier animation. This was really good. You did a really good job. You guys are absolutely killing it as always. But again, I just got out of the early screening for Chainsaw Man: The Reze Arc. I had a full theater, full of passionate fans. It would look like I just came from an anime convention with the level of love and the amount of people that lined up to get to see this movie early. And during the movie, they had handed out various items such as like stickers here, like with Pucci. They had posters for the movie as well. For pretty cool, just kind of getting everybody in the spirit for this movie. I think a lot of people that already were like reading the manga. I was also reading the manga, but I feel like I had stopped at some point because I really wanted the chapters were coming out really slow. But for you tell a lot of people already had like anticipation for that. Like me going into this, I went in completely blind. So I didn't know what I was getting out of this and like where the story was going next because I had put that pause. Now I want to go back and read a lot of that because this was a pretty good breakdown of this particular arc. I usually do not like movie versions of an entire arc for the most part. I think we've been kind of getting into like a hole with that for a while, where like Resurrection of Frieza, I feel like it was like the exception, where I feel like the movie did it better than Super did it. And then and here we are with like the Demon Slayer movies, like breaking down arcs as movies, and then this has kind of been the format as of late. And I feel like if I didn't know this was already a part of the story, this could definitely survive on its own as its own original movie. They did a really good job. But let me get into if you guys didn't know what the Reze Arc movie is about. So pretty much this takes place directly after the end of the first season. And without going into too many spoilers, Denji encounters new romantic interest, Reze, who works at a coffee cafe. That pretty much Chainsaw Man is just so unserious. Like you can't. It's like it's a mix of emotions where like you watch these movies or you watch the show and it's like a wave of sadness. It's like a lot of hilarity, like comedy, but it never takes away from even how ridiculous the action is and stuff like that, or like the overall. I think what Chainsaw Man does is like the interactions as from the characters as humans, because I think that's what the story is about overall. As these characters are demons and devils and angels, as you see in the story here, but at the end of the day, like everybody, I think it's a lot of like the humanity side of the character, which is why the characters in the movie, or the villains in this movie, are trying to come after Denji's heart, because he's like one of the few devils that still has his heart remaining in place, and they want this because they feel like this is something that is going to get them to that next level. So everybody's coming after Denji for the most part to take his heart. I really like the romantic interest, which is Reze in this movie, the build between him and Denji, because he's already, as we see at the beginning of the story, he's kind of he's lost all hope in humanity for the most part, up to a certain point. And all he has was Pucci. And when that gets taken away, he kind of gets taken to that next level. But then of course we got Makita, who's still showing him love and showing him that he's still a human being, even though he has basically become a devil, or a chainsaw devil at this point, but he still has his humanity. I really like the interactions between Makita in Denji in this movie. I love all of the scenes where we just kind of slow it down, and it's not crazy, because there's a lot of crazy. If you've seen Chainsaw Man, you see a lot of that in this movie, where like these two characters, absolutely, like the chemistry, like just kick off right away, where like Denji is making like an impossible decision because all of the women in his life are pretty much just out to kill him, between Power, Makita, like everybody's trying to, kill him in some type of way, or use him in some type of way. But then when you have Reze, who comes along and shows you a little bit something different. Like I said, I don't want to spoil anything for those people who have not seen the movie yet. But it is definitely, I got to see this in IMAX as well. So this was definitely worth the IMAX experience. I thought the sound matched it perfectly. And like I said, the action in the movie, Mappa did an incredible job. I had a hard time even keeping up with like how they were scaling, like, or how they were kind of showing the action scenes, because I was like, okay, like the way this is animated is completely insane. Like I remember like reading, like one of my biggest issues with the manga is it's really hard to really read the flow of the action. Usually with like some manga where they draw it, like you can kind of see kind of where the action is going sometimes, but like sometimes with the Chainsaw Man manga, it's really hard to read it. I think they did a really good job of animating that and showing the flow of the fight. I think a lot better, because you could definitely see in this movie where we have the shark character, I can't think of his name at the moment. He like is doing some incredibly crazy stuff, but I think they do a really good job of like showing him and Denji like together doing some of the crazies. But they do a really good job. Like I think Mappa hits it out the park. Whatever the budget was, they did a good job. This was definitely worth, in this like wave of like anime and movie theater, I think they have more than shown that anime deserves a spot in the theater. Anime, like I said, as we've gotten the Dragon Ball movies, the One Piece movies, we've gotten Soul Leveling. Crunchyroll has been doing a really good job of like getting these movies in the theater, and not only that, just getting more eyes on the brand as a whole. Like, I mean, they've been killing it. But like I said, the Reze Arc, whether you read it or you watch in the theater, I obviously suggest that you go see it in the theater. The music for this is incredibly good. Honestly, like I think my only drawback to a certain extent is that you can kind of tell like it kind of has that flow, as like it was supposed to be serialized a little bit instead of a movie. But other than that, I think it did come together quite well, the way they edited and they cut it for this thing, for this particular movie. They did do a really good job here. Like I said, the action was incredible, the music was good. I really like the Power, Denji, and all of the characters coming together. I feel like everybody had the amount of time that they needed for this movie. It's only like an hour and 40 minutes too, so it doesn't overstay its welcome. And it doesn't, you don't feel like you've seen too much. Because I'm pretty sure at some point they're probably going to just go ahead and serialize this, which of course, why wouldn't they? As Demon Slayer and many shows have, but they making it a point to say, hey, this is exclusively in theaters, on a exclusive amount of time, whenever they decide to roll that around. But basically, you need to get your butt in the theater and check out this movie. Support these anime movies. Let's get more of these going. They're doing an incredibly good job. Let them know that we are watching and we're supporting. Like I said, this was good. I don't have no reason other than like I said, this movie's clearly rated R, so I would not recommend taking your kids to see this, even though it is animated, because it does have some scenes that are like just all off the wall crazy. But other than that, the movie was good. Like I said, this is my first time, seeing these characters and some Reze and like some of the characters that are introduced in this arc. So this was all new to me. So I'm glad that I got to experience this, for the first time in the movie theater. But now I'm definitely about to get on that Crunchyroll app. I'm definitely about to start catching back up on the manga to see where this goes going forward. This did its job 100% through and through. This was incredibly good. Top to bottom to me. This is something that I cannot wait to own once I get it. Like I said, Mappa, you did an incredibly good job. Everybody involved, the voice actors, the animators, everybody, the music, everything was good for this. Like I said, this is definitely worth seeing a second time. Don't bring your kids. Once again, this is not a kid-friendly movie. But other than that, Chainsaw Man coming to theaters on this October. Almost make sure I got that right. October, make sure I get that. Make sure I don't want to mess that up for you guys. October 24th. It's going to be in theaters October 24th. But you know, some theaters do have the Thursday early release. So check this out as soon as you can. It's going to be a packed weekend. October 24th, Chainsaw Man, the Reze Arc in theaters now. By the time you see this, but check it out. It's definitely 100% worth your time and worth your dollar. But you know the drill. Leave me a comment below. Let me know what you thought about the movie. Did you think it didn't live up to expectations? Did you need more out of this? Do you think this anime trend of movies is not for you? Let me know what you guys thought. But I think I thought Chainsaw Man, the Reze Arc was good. This is a fun time in the movie theater. If you're an anime fan, you're gonna have a good time. But on that note, this has been Terrell with another review. This time for Chainsaw Man. Thank you, Crunchyroll. Thank you for the early screening and everybody involved. This was a fun night out. Thank you for the poster and everything. But like I said, leave me a comment. Let me know what you guys thought, and I'll see you next time for another review. See you.